This is Jim Sawyer for capitalismandcrisis.org. Our trio exits the film Night of the Living Dead, mumbling something about food cravings zombie style. Following a return ride on tracks, they stake out another booth at Cafe Netherworld, then late-night snack on shakes and fries smothered in proprietary sauce from the crypt. Next, Grandpa takes center stage. Adam, he asks, could you explain why so much of early capitalist doctrine has become irrelevant? And Joan, could you delve into the lacuna thing again? That doctrinal void about which you are so energized? After you two do that, I'll address how to patch up the system. You know, how to make capitalism great again. But could you hurry, please, he implores. It makes me anxious when zombies aren't tucked into bed by midnight, Grandpa frets. Gladly, not the economic duo. Adam begins. The narrative of capitalism, he observes, is set at the time of the American Revolution, when combatants carried lead balls and powder horns and shot at one another with muskets. Imagine, Professor Smith reflects, in so many ways, we continue to rely on an economic worldview set in a bygone era, even from before our country was founded. There are implications, of course, profound implications. Our economic world evolves, even while laissez-faire pronouncements from right-wing ideologues remain chiseled in stone. A consummate example? Consider Senator Phil Gramm, the subject of our recent Capitalism and Crisis module number 27. In his congressional role, he used value judgments, allegedly about natural law. Indeed, some say God's law, to dictate restrictive terms around which he and his minions continue to believe economic policy must be shaped. I'll tackle briefly two huge problems growing out of this right-wing mythology, Adam says. One is, 2+ centuries after our nation's founding, the economic world has evolved to render gross domestic product, GDP, an inadequate measure, not just of well-being, but the overall status of the common good. The other problem is the orderliness trap. Those like me doing the laissez-faire thing 2+ centuries ago, Zombie Smith remembers, patterned how actual economies were modeled after how Isaac Newton viewed the physical world, consistent with a perfect rotation of the planets in our solar system. Inside the atom and beyond our solar system, however, he says, physicists eventually qualified use of the Newtonian orderliness mythology that began with the work of Albert Einstein over a century ago. Unfortunately, most economists have never dealt with their own profession's Newton-inherited doctrinal hang-ups. This omission has profound implications for much of the dysfunctions still hiding within the capitalist paradigm. Returning to his first point, Adam argues, well-being either of persons and families or entire communities and societies no longer can be summed up by the dollar value of how much stuff someone or some society consumes. Clean air and clean water, for instance, may be more valuable to some than another video download or even a new SUV, for instance. Especially, he reflects, there was precious little public consumption 2 centuries ago. Therefore, there was little reason to value public goods such as public education programs or anti-poverty initiatives, and to include such goods and services in calculating the length and breadth of the common good. Not so in the contemporary world, however. Prior to ceding the floor to Robinson, Smith cites a litany of festering social problems that diminish the common good that he believes must be incorporated into next-generation measures of society's well-being. Next, Robinson follows Smith, citing the work of celebrated business writer Duff McDonald. Duff laments over 3 decades corporations have obsessed about short-term thinking, he says, obsessed with outsourcing jobs overseas, with trashing labor unions in government, and with making end runs around safety and environmental regulations, and much, much more. It's time for corporate America, for both aspects, public and private, to clean up its act, Robinson asserts. Next, Joan summarizes the profit lacuna. Capitalism's founders, she says, failed to make a distinction between what should be the extra reward to $1 more of productive investment by capitalists compared with $1 more of speculation-oriented financial placement by pseudo-capitalists. The real economic swamp needing to be drained, Professor Robinson reiterates, is the swamp of corruption, public corruption included, wealth hoarding, fraud, rigging, and gaming schemes, and the like. She offers a quick refresher. Making capitalism great again requires getting America's plow horse, too often sidelined as a hobby horse, back into the field metaphorically and literally as a productive, hard-working horse. Quite simply, she concludes, this is the only viable route to making capitalism great again. It is the only sure path to making America great again. We must determine what is productive economically, and then we must support it with tax and regulatory incentives, as well as tax and regulatory disincentives to slow or stop so-called perps, the perpetrators of pseudo-capitalist schemes. So in our next module, Grandpa again leads, proposing how to make capitalism great again. Don't miss it. This is Jim Sawyer for CapitalismInCrisis.org, home of Zombienomics.